Talia, good to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me.
I always find it very interesting when you return to play a character. And I feel like there's a lot of kind of things that go, when you find out you're coming back for a season two, and it's like, okay, what is the storyline? What's gonna happen? What's everything gonna look like? What are you thinking about the most, even before like maybe getting all the scripts, so to speak?
Yes, yes, even before we start shooting, I think there's just so much anticipation leading up to the start of season two. I mean, we had kind of been even just thinking about that from season one because this is an adaptation of a show that we know with three seasons. We were thinking ahead of our storylines and where our characters could go. And then when we got greenlit for it, and then we knew that we'd actually get to tell those stories, we started building that excitement about what we'd get to see in our stories, what we'd get to see adapted because, our writers wanted to do and have done a lovely job of adapting the original source material into something that is slightly new for viewers and stuff like that. So as castmates, we were excited to see how that would look and how that would be kind of translated. And when we got those scripts, I think what I was looking forward to was getting the chance to work more with my girls and get to fight more and get to just really build and round out our characters because we barely had any time to do so in season one. So getting to do so in season two and season three was super, super cool.
Season ones for sure are always world building, right? You're introducing, and we've never seen these characters like we did at that
Exactly.
time, right? So, this is the first time we're chatting, so I'm going to ask you something that's going to go back to season one. I feel like anyone that's cast on something that is like a spin-off, reimagination, or a continuation of something that had original source material, I feel like you could look at it as like a very unique casting situation because there's
Very.
familiar territory and unfamiliar territory at the same time, right? Like, did it feel like that with Avatar: The Last Airbender, where you knew what was going on, but you didn't know what was going on?
Yes, I think it's very interesting because watching the show as a fan, I guess I had never projected myself into the universe in this way before. And so when I got the role, I was like, okay, wait, let me experience this universe all over again, but through the lens of May. And so that was really cool getting to see it from the perspective of instead of being on, Aang's side, now I'm on May's side. And that was super cool. And also I think there's a balance that we all tried to find, which is yes, taking so much inspiration from the source material and letting the wonderful work of the voice actors kind of inform our decisions, but also trying to make it feel real to ourselves and trying to make every scene and everything feel authentic so it doesn't feel like that we're just chasing somebody else's performance, but really owning it for ourselves.
Was there anything specific from a mindset perspective or like preparation that you knew was going to be a bit different from season one versus season two, even before like really stepping into it, so to speak?
I think one thing is that so we are venturing into the Earth Kingdom, and obviously there is the new aspect of playing Kyoshi warriors and all that stuff. So we have all these new adventures. So first of all, I think this is our first venture outside of the Fire Nation. So I think it mentally I had to prepare myself for like, okay, the stakes are raising. We're experiencing new things together, and also knowing where the dynamic leads between the trio,
Yeah.
understanding where it goes, but also not wanting to hint to that too early on, but wanting to set the foundation for the development of our dynamic. I think that was something that we all had on our minds so that it would make sense in retrospect once that moment happens and we look back and we're like, oh, I can see how we got here. But as we go on the way, we don't want to give too much of it away.
Absolutely. And to add to what you just said, there's a lot of kind of conversations with the trio about certain things and what they can expect. And then that script to screen journey is really interesting, right? Because like you get these
Yeah.
scripts, you prepare as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
And then you get there and you see
Yeah.
everything come to life. What's that like for you with Avatar specifically?
It, let me tell you, it is so unreal. Like our our set decorations, our costume, everything is just so it's it's crazy to see in real life. Honestly, I wish everybody could just take a tour through our sets because it really is like a magical world come to life in front of your eyes. And especially, I would say, especially on the days that we're doing our fight scenes, it just feels like I'm being transported into another universe because there's just a whole new level of, oh, I'm in this. I'm fighting right now. Magical stuff is happening. People are bending stuff. And you really have to believe in it while you're doing it. And everything just feels so, so real for the time that we are filming. And when I go home, I'm like, gosh, I wish I could just pop back into that universe again. And I think I'm still at the point right now where I'm like, I'm not ready to say goodbye to that universe because it really is just so fun to live in. And yes, the circumstances and the weight of everything can be very heavy and dark, but at the same time, we have these really fantastical elements and there's just so much joy and love in the universe.
Absolutely. My filmmaker had asked you this next question because I find it very interesting. So we're going to
Yeah.
see a scene or two, with a bunch of characters and,
Yeah.
even before a big kind of fight sequence, but and the runtime of this scene is like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we go to the next scene, right? But I
Yeah.
know that there's a chance that that scene might have taken the whole day or like 2 weeks to film. When those big scenes happen, do they feel like their own mini movie, like mini project?
It really is. I think that like on the day that we're doing it, that's all that exists. You know, like
That's a
when
good way
we're
of putting it.
no, because when we're prepping, we're thinking about all this like big picture stuff. Like you're thinking about character arc. We're thinking about all these like giant things in terms of development of the show. And then you show up on the day, it's just gonna be that, and that is everything to you. I remember some of these fight sequences, like the one that we did with me and Momona versus actually let me use our character names. With May and Ty Lee versus Suki, Sokka, Katara. When we were filming that, we had to divide it out because there was just way too much material to film. So we shot some of that way early and we shot some of that way later in the season. And it's very interesting because you have to kind of like jump back into that mindset. And really specifically for those fight days, it can take so long because we have everybody's coverage and we just want to make sure we get all of these shots in the very specific ways. And it is very interesting because I remember that specific day we were jumping around between we were shooting this type of shot and over here we're running through the fields shooting this shot over here we're running back over here and continuing this one and we're running back and we're continuing this one so it really is just so much chaos that you're not really thinking about everything else you're really falling back onto the preparation work that you did for that scene for that time and you're just letting that moment breathe.
Absolutely. No, really well said. And then, last question I'm very interested to kind of ask you with everything you kind of said, because, you get there and I feel like it's, all storytelling, different worlds, different characters, but, like past projects versus something like this and future projects, it's different. But you're always going to be able to take like learning experiences from a project like
Yes.
this because there's so many things that you probably
Yes.
learn
Yes.
to future projects. What would you say from a storytelling acting perspective are the biggest kind of learning experiences that you got from Avatar for future projects?
Oh my gosh, I think that there were so many lessons that I learned not only from working with these lovely actors, but also from shadowing because I got to shadow our directors, which was really fun. So I'll start with one thing that I learned with working with actors is that when you're shooting something so many times over and over and over again. It is really important to find ways to make the scene new for yourself. In other words, like asking yourself like a new question, like asking yourself to view the scene in maybe just a slightly different way, try and maybe a new intention or something like that, so that it can really feel new and real to you all over again. Because I think it's really easy to get stuck in one way of saying things, one way of viewing the scene, and then the scene starts to become duller and duller because you're just living in it a little too much and it doesn't feel like life because life is constantly new, it's constantly evolving. So we had our lovely on-set acting coach Sarah Arrington, who I adore, and she would give us new prompts so that we could keep going and keep discovering. And I think that was such a huge part for us. And then on the directorial side of watching the work of our actors from like behind the cameras, which was super cool because I was like, oh, I get to work with them and now I get to kind of take a back seat and just watch. And watching, I think that so much of it is like you have to trust yourself so much more. I think that as actors, we can become very insecure and we can doubt our own choices and everything like that. But when you look at it from back here, it's like, oh, everybody has your back.
Yeah.
Really, Everybody does. And everybody, all these people that you see on set, they're all working together to make sure that we get these shot. And so just trusting in the people that are surrounding you, are backing you, and just trusting that you have put in the work because, we were rehearsing all the time. We were really just deeply, deeply invested in this. And so to just trust ourselves and trust the crew and trust the process.
I'm smiling because I know because I'm a filmmaker as well, like the
Yeah.
team behind
Yeah, exactly. You get it. You get it. Exactly.
like you're just
Yeah.
speaking about it and it's like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
No,
It is.
absolutely. But yeah, so season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender is streaming now worldwide on Netflix, so they could check that out. And thank you so much for joining me on the show. I really, really appreciate it.
I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Your Instagram account is just your name if people want to keep up to date with everything, right?
Yes, Talia__Tran.
Awesome. This has been Pop Turn of youtube.com/Pop Turn for previous episodes. Until next time, it's Thalia Tran and PED Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.